I have seen so many prototype redesigns. I'm Kirbyster Plays, by the way. I just realised that was so mean of me. I didn't even introduce myself. Hi, I'm Kirbyster Plays. How you doing? I've seen so many prototype redesigns over the weeks and months since the release of Poppy Playtime Chapter 5, and I want to find out which one would be the strongest. Which one of the hundreds of fan designs we've seen would fend off all the competition and be crowned the strongest prototype redesign of all time? Well, I think I figured out a way to find out. Consider this video a proof of concept. We'll look through 4 prototype redesigns and decide which of those 4 would win in a fight. Then we'll look through another group of 4 and do the same. The winner from each group will then go head to head to decide which one would be the strongest. Now, out of only 8 designs, that might not be saying much, so if you like this video, I can make more. All of the designs featured in this video are from the Kirbyster Plays community tab, and thank you also to the amazing Kirbyster Plays channel members. Our first group of 4 starts with this design from Light Rod Z. Now, when I say strongest, that can be a multitude of things. Now, looking at this design at face value, we're thinking power. You know, how can this get an edge over the other competitors? How can this defeat them? How can this overcome them? So we have multiple factors here. This is actually quite an interesting design to start with. Firstly, it has a number of arms and appendages. This can be used to quite literally tear other designs apart potentially. I'm thinking also back here, we have doctor representation. So we have a monitor. Will that help them? Can they be fed intelligence through the doctor's monitor? I don't know. But one thing's for sure, this is made up of so many different powerful creatures. There's also doughy representation here. How much autonomy does Doughy have? Can they still are they still conscious? Can they move the pieces and the Play-Doh and the doughy material around to perhaps help even more? There's so much to look at here. But obviously there is nothing to compare this one to yet because it's the first design we're looking at. But this would be powerful. Because also, look at it, the size of it is also a really big factor, because if you have a tiny prototype design compared to a giant prototype redesign, you can kind of get a sense of a power balance. So this one, it could potentially, we could have an early winner here. There's a lot going for this one. In terms of weaknesses, a lot of the appendages, and actually the entire front body section, are connected only by tiny little springs. So a lot of other designs, they're a lot thicker, they're a lot more armoured. All you have to do is cut away at some of these springs and then it doesn't have access to, for example, Boxy's head, or even the head and torso anymore. Kind of not 50-50, but kind of a potentially an unbalanced design here. The next design is the one by Mimosa. This is absolutely huge. Now, there is so much going on here. I would not want to be in a fight against this thing. Isn't it crazy? This thing is huge. I don't know why I've actually decided to start with these designs, because they're both so hulking and so powerful. This one, obviously, it has so many obvious points going for it, right? There's the size, the intimidation. Also, this also has doctor representation on it. This one has the addition of the grab packs to use as well, the big claw and everything. The only thing that I can see going against this one is potentially it won't be as speedy as the design that we'd previously seen by Light Rod. I think that the bulk and the amount of armor on this design could be its downfall. The other one, obviously, it's mainly Pugger-Pillar, so it move around potentially a lot quicker. And also, although this one has quite a lot of appendages, they're quite hard to make out, but they are more bulky and armored. So I'm not really sure how this one would fend off against Light Rod's design in particular. Also, I can't help noticing the number of heads up there. Which one is in control? Are these decorations from dead toys that have no autonomy and no control or no conscience at all? Or are there multiple mentalities in play? Do they all have different minds? Potentially that could be quite strange. There could be some infighting with this design maybe. And how will the Doctor affect that? That's quite interesting. The next design in this group of 4 is the one by Paradox Prime based on the Helliverse and Has-Been Hotel. Now this design is a lot more straightforward to whatever that previous design was. However, it's also at a bit of an advantage because this one has a written description in it. Now, I read through this description and the labelings as well. When we looked through this design before, the experiment project went wrong as he escaped his soul, broken as he lost his sanity and became a mastermind and the god of hell himself for 10 years. So this design has previously been the god of hell. I'm taking this lore as gospel. By the way, this is canon in my mind. He steals the souls of those who permanently die in hell and stitches them together to grant them eternal life. Memories of their human selves break their minds and ensure complete obedience to him as his puppets. So the Paradox Prime prototype design, which is very fun to say, Paradox Prime prototype, it can control souls and grant people eternal life. But in the realm of the living, how important is that? Like, you know, we understand that like this design's powers are rooted in the afterlife, but, you know, we haven't gotten there yet. You know, it's still alive. So let's assume, yes, this is the god of hell. It's been the god of hell for 10 years, but it's back in the realm of the living to take down the other prototype designs that we've seen from Mimosa and Lightrod. It's quite interesting now because quite a lot of its heavenly and indeed hellish abilities will be taken away. Now, if the battle was taking place in the afterlife, this would win hands down, because it has the ability to steal people's souls. But in terms of that, like, we have, whatever this is, what does that say? A custom angelic prosthetic arm with needle-like claw fingers, still kept the prototype's iconic mast, etc. Amadeus' hair on his waist, Belphegor's sleeping gas, lava lamp aura. Okay, so they have sleeping gas. This is the first example of a type of poppy gas. Very interesting. I'm quite divided on this one, because like I say, you know, in the afterlife, it's like trying to fight the character Beetlejuice. You know, in the afterlife, they'd be unstoppable, but in the real world, maybe it's a bit more of an even playing field. Very interesting one. The final design in this first group of 4 is this one. Now, I don't fancy this guy's chances too much. Obviously, like, they don't have a lot of reach, they don't even have legs. This is not a fair fight. Yeah, I think it's fair to say this one, unless it can like shoot lasers from its eyes that can penetrate anything, it's not gonna do too well. Think about it, like the Helliverse one, they can send it to sleep and then they can just slash it. Mimosa's design, you know, they have like all of those different arms from maybe Longlegs and Boxy that could potentially like tear its head off or like even like, just flip it over, you know. This design, yeah, by Plushtube 700, I don't think it's gonna get far. I mean, like, if you look at this alongside the other designs, is it going to do well? I don't think so. So let's assume that Plushtube 700 is going to die. Okay, I don't think this one can take over the other ones. And let's assume the battle is in the realm of the living, and I can't believe I even have to say that. I think this puts the Helliverse one, potentially, not at a disadvantage, but it makes it a bit more even. This design I am so torn on because it's really like confusing but also just powerful. You know, I am assuming of course that there is one mind behind it, like there is a unique prototype head, so all of the pieces could be under its control. Now, in terms of weapons, it does have grab packs, but other than that it's just bare hands, whereas this one, I don't know, it's kind of the same, but it's less erratic. You know, the Mimosa design, it's all over the place. You know, we don't know how many consciences there are. It's very, very jumbled. And like I say, other than the grab pack, there is a lack of actual potential weapons or artillery. And because this one is so jumbled, which is fantastic for the prototype, I'm going to say because Lightrod's design is so much sleeker, because there's a lot more control, because it potentially has speed, and it's made up of one character in particular being Pugapilla, as well as the Doctor's intelligence being fed through to it, and the number of arms, and the fact that it has 4 of the prototype hands, which I've just now noticed, and Dowie as well, I think that the winner in the first group is Lightrod's design. I think that that's fair to say. So whoever wins in the next group will be going up against Lightrod to decide the ultimate winner of this video. The first design in group 2 is by Retro. This one is quite interesting because it's the only humanoid design in this video. Could the humanoid design of this one be an advantage? I don't know. Obviously we don't have any designs in this group to compare it to just yet, but I don't know, that could be quite interesting. This one, I will say, it does look quite damaged already, like the head, part of the mask has been torn away. Could the fact that it's bipedal, you know, mean that it's faster? You know, I don't see any particular weapons here, but I'm going to assume those claws are strong. And also, because, like, you know, one of the feet is catnaps, maybe that could be quite strong. I don't know, let's see the other designs from the group and see just how it would get along. Springley's one. Now, this is interesting. This one has armor. Now, the design around the puppet stage, I don't know how strong that would be. I think one good swipe of a claw may be able to damage that quite a lot. But other than that, this one is a force to be reckoned with. because like it has those two arms with the big defined powerful claws, it has armor protecting the head in the middle, and the legs on either side. I'm going to assume that the Mummy Longlegs arm is functional as well. So this is a very powerful one. The one thing I'm a bit concerned about with this one is the reach of the arms. Like, how far can they go? This one may not be able to deal a lot of damage unless the villain is like 2 or 3 feet away from them, which could be quite interesting. If you draw the curtains in like the stadium looking bit, I'm going to assume that that provides a bit more cover for the prototype design as well. At the end of the day, it's just a puppet stage box, so it won't be massively powerful, but in terms of armor, I'd say that this is probably like physically, potentially the strongest design we've seen so far in either group, but we still have 2 more designs to go. Taylor and Riley's design. Now this one is quite interesting because it's the first one we've seen that just uses Poppy Gas directly, so that could be quite interesting. Let's assume that this could lull the humanoid design and the previous design to sleep, or like, I don't know, hypnotize them to a degree. That could be quite interesting. So after this design has taken control, potentially, or influenced the previous 2 designs, then what? You know, this design, it doesn't have any weapons. It doesn't even have any hands. So, you know, this design would be great at getting the upper ground in terms of using the Poppy Gas, but then it's a little lost. There is some doughy, and it does look like Mummy Longlegs is kind of still alive. Actually, all of them have red lights in the eyes, so maybe they're still around. But I don't know, other than that one kissy arm and whatever is going on here, I don't know how much this design would be able to do in an all-out fight. I don't know, there's one design to go. The Blue Engine Productions. Oh, I was worried about this one. Now, okay, in terms of armor, now this is the strongest, because that is a train. Now, if you think of the size of the train in Poppy Playtime Chapter 2, I remember the mythology of this design by Blue Engine Productions was that the train that we were actually in at the end of Chapter 2 was taken over by the prototype. So the train you're looking at now is the same one from the game, the same one from Chapter 2. So this is massive, as well as that, as all of like the powerful legs. This one has Poppy Gas as well, and those 2 prototype arms, a grab pack as well. Like a legitimate grab pack that it can use that's fully functional. Pianosaurus, don't know what they could do. As well as a Mummy Longlegs arm. So this one has range and Poppy Gas. I think this is the only design of the video that has range and Poppy Gas. So for Retro's humanoid design, I don't think that that can get the upper hand. Maybe it would be able to like climb up the train, potentially. But I don't know how much damage it would be able to do. And also like, once Retro's design is under like the control of the Poppy Gas, it's done for. Mummy Longlegs can rip its head off. I think Retro's has kind of been knocked out of the competition. Taylor and Riley, yeah, the weaponry isn't there. You know, it's good at getting the upper hand, but what that design had going for it was that it had Poppy Gas. And this one does as well, and then some, and then even more armor. So I'm going to assume maybe Taylor and Riley's design is out of this particular round as well. So the battle therefore is between Springley's design and the Blue Engine Productions. Depending on how fast the Blue Engine Productions design could go, you know, actually yeah, depending on how fast this design could go, it could cause some serious damage to Springley's design. The one thing that Springley is missing out on is just that range. You know, having those 2 arms is great when you're dealing with one like human design, but this is anything but human. It's now fighting a bloody train. I think that the grab pack could penetrate Springley's armor and bring them down. I'm going to go ahead and say, in Group 2, the winner is the Blue Engine Productions train. So that brings us to our final battle, Light Rod's design from Group 1 versus the Blue Engine Productions design from Group 2. Now this is where it gets interesting, because I feel like this would be a battle for the ages. Directly looking at both of them, there isn't an immediate weakness to either of them. Light Rod has all of those different appendages and all of those different powers, and the Doctor presumably feeding intelligence to them. But the Blue Engine one, it's just so powerful, and it has the Poppy Gas as well. Light Rod doesn't have the Poppy Gas. The Blue Engine one does have a monitor for a face. I don't know if that means that the Doctor is actually involved in powering this one. It's a tough one. I want to know what you think, before I decide a winner, which one of these two prototype redesigns would win in a fight? Let me know. Light Rod or Blue Engine? It is difficult. It is so difficult. But I think... I don't think. That's the problem. One design has the Doctor, the other has Poppy Gas. I'm going to go ahead and say that Light Rod would be able to like incapacitate the prototype's arms on the Blue Engine design just because it has so many appendages. The Light Rod design would use Mummy Longlegs' arms to try and incapacitate the actual prototype body of the Blue Engine design as much as it could, and then use Boxy's hands to deal some real damage. I think, on a balance of probabilities, Light Rod's design could win against Blue Engine Productions. Do you agree? That means that out of these 8 designs, Light Rod's design would be the most powerful. I found that really fun. Let me know what you think. Do you want me to look over more prototype fan designs and see which one would be the most powerful and see if it could take on Light Rod's design? Let me know. This was interesting. This was fun. This was something new. Please subscribe, and thank you again to the amazing Kirbyster Plays channel members. You're awesome. Thank you. You're really cool. The channel members, I love them. We have members of the Kirby clan, and we have Kirbyster captains as well. Thank you for everything. Thank you for watching. Comment, subscribe. Bye-bye.